All right. Today we are going to use benchmark fractions to compare two fractions on a number line. Now, benchmark fractions are those ones that you commonly hear, like 1/3, 2/3, 1/2, 1/4. Those are all benchmark fractions. Those are the ones that you can look at and identify right away. Today we're going to draw out two different fractions on number lines. You can see here that I have already placed two number lines. I tried really hard to keep them the same length. So we're going to use those to partition and visually see which fractions are greater than or which fractions are less than, or if two fractions happen to be equal. And in a lot of cases, we're going to be using those benchmark fractions, the 1/4, the 1/2, the 1/3. We're going to be using those to kind of get an educated guess before we even solve the entire equation. So the first one that we are going to compare is 2/6 and 1/2. So see here that I have two different denominators, which makes it a little bit difficult to compare those fractions right off. So the first one that I'm going to draw out is this 2/6. I'm going to make a number line, starting with 0, ending with 1. And I'm going to partition this number line into sixths. My half. Partition that half into thirds, and this half into thirds. And right here I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6, 5/6. I have heavy S's. It's really hard to say sixths. So I'm going to identify my 2/6 right there. Now I can go ahead and clear out so I have enough room. There was my 2/6. Now I'm going to try to get the exact same number line going on. 0 right there. 1 right there. And now I'm going to partition this just in half. Hey, that's pretty convenient. And there is my half. 1/2, 2/2, 1. So as you can see with this number line, 2/6 is way back here and 1/2 is ahead. So seeing that 1/2 is right here, we can say that 2/6 is less than 1/2. Well, who am I kidding? I can't just draw that and not do. Okay, fun is fun. But what we want to get out of this lesson today is using benchmark fractions. We knew that 1/2 was right in the middle of that number line. And we could also think, what sixth equals 1/2? So if we showed 1/2 right here, how would we get to something over 6? We want to find out what sixth equals 1/2. So our steps would be 1/2 times something equals something over 6. Well, 2 times what equals 6? 2 times 3. What you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. 1 times 3 equals 3. So if you didn't know it already, which you probably should have, but if you didn't, that's all right. 3/6 equals 1/2. Well, 2/6 is less than 3/6, so right away we could have gone with 2/6 is less than 1/2. Let's go on to our next one. For this one, we are going to compare 1/2 with 2/3. This one might be just a little bit trickier because they are so drastically different. Let's draw them out, starting with, on this top number line, set it up for 1/2. Go ahead and partition that into a half and label it and mark it. There's our 1/2. Now we're going to partition this into the second number line. We're going to find our 0 and try to make it the exact same. We're going to partition this one into thirds. I have 0/3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Go ahead and mark 2/3. And we can see on this number line that 2/3 is greater than 2/3 is, oops, greater than 1/2, or 1/2 is less than 2/3. Now there's another way that we could have done this, and that is taking 1/2 and 2/3, and we're going to find what they call a common denominator. So when we find halves, we don't have that luxury when we have a third. So go ahead, we know that 6 is a multiple of 3, and 6 does have a half. So let's go ahead and, what color should we use? Let's set up multiplying a couple fractions. And we want to get to 6 because we know that something sixth is a half. We just talked about that last time. 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2. What you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. 2 times 2. 2 times 2 equals 4. 4/6. Well, I also know that half has, that 6 is a multiple of 2. So here I can set this one up with 1/2 and something over 6, because 6 is a multiple of 2, or 2 is a factor of 6. And I just need to find out 2 times what equals 6? Well, 2 times 3 equals 6. What you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. 1 times 3 equals 3. And now that I have fractions that have a common denominator, that share a denominator, I know that 4 is greater than 3, so 2/3 is greater than 1/2. I used my knowledge on how to find equivalent fractions to solve my conundrum. All I need to do is find equivalent fractions with common denominators. Now let's find on just one number line. Let's see if we can solve and compare two fractions on just one number line. Let's go ahead and partition this out. Or I guess not partition it out yet. Go ahead and make your 0 to 1. And we are going to compare 5/12 and 7/8. So let's go ahead right away and partition out 5/12. Half. Each half partition it into thirds. Each sixth partition it into half, and bada bing, bada boom, we have 12ths. All that partitioning of days past is paying off. So now we need to count 1/12, 2/12, 3/12, 4/12, 5/12. Go ahead and make a big dot right there. And while we're here, where would 1/2 go on this number line? 5/12, here's 6/12. 6/12 equals 1/2. So go ahead and put 1/2. Clear your partitioning, but leave your dot and leave your half. Because we know right there is halfway through that number line. Well, this time we're going to use blue, and we need to partition our number line into eighths. So we have half. Now we have fourths. And now we have eighths. So now we can go ahead and count 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. Go ahead and put a big dot right there. And clear your partitioning. So we have 5/12 right here. And we have 7/8 right here. So we can clearly see that 5/12 is less than 7/8. But using that half, we can also clearly see that 5/12 doesn't even get to half yet. 7/8 is way past half. Well, if you just look at 12ths, we know that 6/12 equals 1/2. 6/12 equals 1/2. And we know that out of 8, 4/8 equals 1/2. So by using that knowledge, I can see that 5/12 is less than 1/2, and 7/8 is way greater than 1/2. So without drawing that out, I could have seen that using my knowledge on what equals 1/2, I could see that 7/8 was greater than 1/2 and 5/12 was less than 1/2. Therefore, 5/12 is less than 7/8. Cool.